Conversations, conversations. We don't yell, we don't fight. We don't care who's wrong or who's right. Live your life, live your life. Conversations with the gentlemen, talks with the gentlemen, talks with the gentlemen. Conversations. You are now tuned in with another exclusive with Kinnawa the AfricanThunder. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of A Conversation with a Gentleman. My name is Kinnawa the AfricanThunder, and of course I'm here with a special guest. We're going to do things a little differently on this show though. Now we're going to go back and forth and have a real life conversation about the different things that have gone on within our lives, gone on within 2020, and what are we expecting, our expectations for the future. So I have with me my brother from another mother, you know what I'm saying, my line brother, really just, honestly, like even my spiritual brother as well.
Thanks.
I have my brother Dequantez Sandifer. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, man. Appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Honor.
And this is the first one, so we had to make sure we got it on in.
I'm glad to be the first.
Man.
I won't be the last. So.
Oh, of course not, brother. But so let's just go ahead and jump on into it. We've had a crazy year. Yep. 2020 has been filled with just all sorts of crazy stuff. Pandemic, what they had, the man-eating locust, crazy, just all sorts of stuff like hurricanes after natural disasters and things like that. And along with that, we've had a lot of just even murders and just tragedies.
Yes, definitely.
Continuous
murders that are more broadcast. That's really the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just delve on into 2020. What is your reflection on 2020 as a whole? As far as like the negative aspects, and then we'll jump to the positives.
I really don't have any negatives. Like, I understand that there is negativity in the world, but I see it as negativity is always in the world. Mm-hmm. That it has been since, for me, honestly, it has been since the eating of the fruit on the tree. Adam and Eve. That's when the negativity came about, and really the negativity was before the eating of the fruit, because it was that middle part of talking to the serpent and having those conversations and even being tempted by the serpent to eat the fruit. And people say it's an apple, but in the Bible it was just a fruit. Yeah, we don't know what it was. It could have been a jackfruit or something, or something we never even known, because it's the Garden of Eden. So
yeah, do you feel like I guess 2020 is almost like it's almost like a reflection of that. It's almost like we took for granted that we had all this freedom, we had all of these different things to do, to accomplish, and then all of a sudden, just like that, it was taken away. We quarantine and things like that. What do you think is the correlation, or from that example?
The correlation, I would say, is clear vision. Mm-hmm. When it came to Adam and Eve in that time, I believe that their vision was clouded. Mm-hmm. Definitely Eve's, and then Adam's, mm-hmm. in that sense. And that kind of is the same with 2020. Like, 2020 is supposed to be clear vision, supposed to be perfect vision. And I do believe that with everything that has went on and is continuing to go on, that it's still, I feel like God is telling us, get a clear vision. Mm-hmm. Because being quarantined in your house kind of allows everyone, mm-hmm. to really say, the club really doesn't matter. Yeah. The parties really don't matter. Mm-hmm. Me going to this person's house, or whether it's a friend house or a hookup house or a girlfriend house or a boyfriend house or whoever, really doesn't matter. Yeah. That if you truly care about them, you can still communicate with them through the several sources of technology that we have. Zoom. I'm sure Zoom shares have been
gone up.
Look, more than Teslas. They probably ain't even showing them stock shares for real. But overall, I really think it's just clear vision. Like, and I really sat back and thought about it. Like, all this stuff is happening in 2020. 2020 is supposed to be the year for everybody, but 2020 also signifies clarity, clear vision. And I really think when we had to go to that pandemic, when we are still going through the pandemic, but having to be quarantined, it's really supposed to have been a time for you to really self-reflect on yourself, like what really matters.
I like that. And you know, the good thing about that when you say that is, yes, 2020 is the year of clear vision, clarity. And for us to go through this quarantine, to have to take a seat back to really reflect on how we're living, what we're doing, what do we plan to do, how do we want to, you know, live our lives. This is almost like it happened for a reason, for us to sit down and gain that sense of clarity, so that way the next year can be, hey, it's the execution. So I mean, you know, looking at the clarity and all the things that we've learned, so what are some of the things that you've either learned about yourself or other people, you know, during 2020?
I feel like when it's serious, everybody takes like a deep breath, and I really had to take that deep breath. I learned a lot. One of the main key things that I'm really focused on now is I was able to get that clear vision of how I want my family. So when I say how I want my family, like I'm an optimistic person. If we want to go into zodiac signs, I'm a Sagittarius, and we're supposed to be optimistic. But really, I am optimistic, but I also am open to learning everything. I guess that's the whole thing of optimism. But I would say overall was how I want to have my kids. And I realized there's a certain step that I want to have, and how I want to have my kids now is I want to have that friendship, I want to have that best friend, then that girlfriend, then that fiance, then that wife, then the kids. Prior to that, it was, I mean, if I was to have a kid prior to marriage, cool. If I was to not be married and adopt, cool. But what kind of gave me those steps and that clear vision on that was I really had to look into myself and say, what did I miss as a child? And my parents were married at one point, but I never saw them together really. My dad was in and out of jail over half my life. During that time, my mom had several kids. I'm the oldest of 7 now. I'm thankful for my siblings. I'm thankful for my mom. I'm thankful for my dad. But that was just a journey. And I really had to look back and really say, what did I miss? What did I long for? And I always longed for them to at least be married and be together, physically together. And I say if I'm going to have a family, if I'm going to bring somebody into this world, whether I adopt, because I will adopt, or foster, outside of having biological kids, I always said that I want to make sure that I give them the world. I give them, people always say, and myself included, I want to give my child what I never had and more. So one of the main things that I really wanted was my family to be together, for me to learn those lessons from my dad, to have that support from my dad and my mom together at the same time. So,
and what's crazy is that you know, I love to hear, you know, stories like that where you see something that that not necessarily you didn't like per se, but you see something that you want to turn and make better for yourselves and your future. And we kind of differ in that aspect, because my family, growing up, I was always around my family. Everyone, you know, I saw my parents together and things like that. But I think the thing is that 2020 has taught me that I needed to be okay being alone. And the thing is that I was always, you know, around somebody, you know, if I was in a relationship or talking to somebody or whatnot, or dating somebody, like I was just always had to be by somebody, or I was consumed with the whole aspect of being around someone. So I had to sit down and really just take this reflection, take this time to myself, being quarantined, even when I had to, being an entertainer, trying to be hard away from people, and then but still having to put more emphasis on different ways to still interact with people.
Correct.
This still gave me the time to really sit back and be okay with being who I am in my own space on my own.
Yeah.
And it's really taught me a lot about myself and how I interact with other people, how I perceive different things. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, those of you who know me, and of course DQ brother, like, you know, I definitely was one of those people who would get upset real easily. You know, I found myself constantly looking into other avenues such as drinking and things like that. Now it would take a hell of a lot to make me upset.
Yeah.
I don't even speak on things, you know. Now I sit back and just let it slide, you know. Even now, to a point that I still got liquor over there in my corner. You know, old me would have already downed all that. You know, that's the.
They call one of us and be toe up and we're like, I mean, we can't do nothing for you. Just don't pee on yourself.
Like, you know, it just got to a point that I had to sit down and really do some self-searching, self-reflecting to realize, okay, Kinnawa, what's the best way to be the best person coming out of quarantine, coming out of 2020? What do you need to focus on, and what's important? And so, you know, that brings me also to my next question. What are some things that you want to focus on yourself, you know, when it comes to you know, moving into 2021? What are some things that you know that 2020 has taught you that you want to make sure that you are reflecting and being your best self?
Some things that I am definitely currently doing, I am diving more into the Word. Like me even bringing up Adam and Eve. Yes, I've been going to church and all that, but to dive more into it yourself with no strings attached, like no one's making you, and especially in 2020, like you don't have, you're in the house.
Yeah.
You have all the excuses in the world to say, oh, I'm not gonna turn on TV and watch online church. Oh, I'm not gonna talk to my granny about church today, or you know. But I did the opposite. I have been doing the devotions on Zoom with my pastor and some of my church members, and really shout out to South Nashville Seventh-day Adventist Church. That is my home church and in Nashville, and my pastor, Pastor West, has been great. He is really like, this is what the Bible says, and he's not slacking with it, and he doesn't slack with himself as well, and that's what I love about it. He tells it how it is, and you're able to ask questions. We've asked questions, and when I say we, I mean my family, my mom, and my 6 siblings have asked questions about Christmas, and oh, Pastor, have you celebrated Christmas and all that? Because I'm Seventh-day Adventist, so my focus is about what's the purpose of these things. And I'm not bashing the holidays, but because I take the little things out of it, like I don't fully agree with everything of Thanksgiving because of how it got started and who it affects and stuff. However, I appreciate people going around the table and saying what they're thankful for. I appreciate people gathering together. I appreciate people giving to the homeless, because sometimes those are the only times that some people give to the homeless. Granted, I'm aware that I give and all that stuff, but I also think about other people. That's the time that they're thankful for. You know,
action behind it.
Correct. And it's the same thing with Christmas. Now, one I just really can't get with is Halloween.
No, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, like you're paying to get scared. You're dressing up as demons, devils, and bloody witches, and you're dressing up as nuns, but haven't been to a Catholic church or whatever. That's kind of disrespectful. It's kind of in the sense of people talking about blackface or you know, Black Lives Matter. It's about the disrespect and the level of recognition for people,
or adding a sense of sex, you know what I'm saying, to those items or those costumes.
Correct. People dressing up as Native Americans, but calling them Indians, and also dressing up them as like a sexual object, like. That's literally disrespecting them. So that's one thing that I've really been focused on, and will bring to 2021 as well, is being more devoted to God, and that really is the umbrella for everything else. How I want my family, and how I want everything, and how I'm going about everything. Even with my new job, just talking to my employees and just encouraging them. Now, I don't bring up religion unless they have talked about it before. I've heard them or anything of that sort, because I don't. Yeah,
job etiquette.
But not even just job etiquette. That's just respect for a person. I don't believe all Christians are going to heaven. I don't believe all Seventh-day Adventists are going to heaven. I do believe some quote unquote people that claim themselves to be atheists will be in the kingdom of heaven. I truly believe that, because it's about your heart, and God knows your heart. God is the judge, and I'm so glad He is the judge, because we've seen how court cases have went in America in 2020 and prior to. So imagine if we were the judge of other people. I'll be in here already. I might as well live it up, as my mom said. Look, if you're not worried about going to heaven, I mean, live it up, because this is your heaven at this point in time. Because when He comes,
it's either gonna be worse or it's gonna be better, whichever one.
Serious, it's either you on fire or you getting risen up. Which one? You want to burn for until a crisp? Because can't nobody put you out.
Exactly. Because
the person you clubbing with. And that doesn't mean that everyone that's clubbing or whatever is not going to heaven, but you're responsible for your own, and you're responsible for the sins that you're aware of.
So do you think that I guess one of the things that you are looking to do for 2021 is more so not only, of course, getting closer to God, but also maybe sharing that sense of, one, open-mindedness, but then two, also just kind of the awareness of, actions and things like that to others as well?
Yes. And in order to share that awareness, I'm being more open to people. Like, I've always been open to people personally. And, like, I will share my deepest, darkest, not secret, but deepest, darkest moments in my life, if it's to help save somebody else's life. Personally. But what I will be bringing into 2021 is sharing that more publicly to the world. So.
Awesome. Man, that's awesome, bro. And the thing is, I actually want to touch on this too, the fact that you even brought that up. The thing is that I know we had talked about this, just spur of the moment kind of thing, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this up because you just had a great point. So, I didn't invite DQ onto the show just because, he's my line brother or anything like that. It's genuinely because we would have our conversations, and whether it be, either me and you or, us and the other guys or, whoever, DQ was always the first to, I would say, become naked with the conversation. He was fine with really sharing and getting those in-depth questions. He was never asking surface questions. It was always like, hey, how are you genuinely doing? How are you genuinely feeling? How are you genuinely thinking? What's been going on in your life? What are you feeling? What are your expectations? What do you want to do? And the thing is, I wanted to have you on this show and be my first guest because I wanted the first show to be a genuine conversation that allowed, the listeners and even paved the way for future guests to be able to come on the show and talk freely and be okay with that. And the thing is that I know I give you flack about it. I always crack jokes and I'd be like, look, man, dang, DQ being fake deep. But the thing is that we, aside from the fact that of course I like to joke, but I think also
that's a good quality. Don't ever lose that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
Ever.
I think the other thing is that I feel like some people are also uncomfortable with having those serious conversations.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Touching back on that. And I really appreciate you for always being able to step up and have those conversations, or being the first one to bring it to the table, no matter what. Even if people are unwilling at first, or kind of, I don't know if I want to share it. I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you.
And of course, you coming on the show, not even, just only thing you asked me was, okay, well, what time I need to be there and what I need to wear.
Correct.
It wasn't hey, what are you gonna ask me? You got a list. It was
I'm either gonna come or I'm not.
Yeah.
This is just how it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask who's gonna be there and I'm either gonna come or I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I've never been that person to be like, oh, you're invited to this party, and I've hit them with the question, who's gonna be there? But now in my life, I'm like, I'm either gonna come, or I'm not. I either care about you and coming for you and not for the other people.
Yeah.
So I came here for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Seriously, for even having this. Like, this is my... No, I was about to lie. I had to think about it. I was about to say, this is my first interview, but this is my first interview in 2020, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I told you this off camera, but I'm telling you, I appreciate him doing this, because sometimes I do feel like I'm like overlooked. I don't think and be like, ooh, I'm gonna ask this.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Sometimes I do. If I observe somebody and I feel like something's off about someone or whatever, then I'll think in my head, okay, when is the right time to ask them how you are, or what's going on, or I noticed this or whatever. And it may be with the group, it may be separately, it may be depending on what it is and how I feel about it. I may FaceTime, I may pull up. It all depends on the content of it. But overall, sometimes I feel like it's kind of brushed to the side. Yeah. And I've had moments this year, just being fully transparent, that I felt unappreciated. Yeah. I literally had a moment in devotion with my church members, and I said, I'm thinking about letting my friends go, or at least most of them, because I really felt unappreciated. And my pastor told me, he said that sometimes you have to realize why God placed you in somebody's life. Yeah. Sometimes it's not always about what you can get from it, but you may be in their life to bless them. You may be in their life to hear them out, to make sure they're good, to draw them closer to God.
That's powerful.
And I'm glad he told me that prior to I want to say last week. I had a friend that was a friend of mine, and I'm going to say I still consider her a friend since middle school. And we were on the phone, and she was just like normal. I'm comfortable with listening to people, because I believe that the most powerful thing you need to do is listen to understand, not listen to reply to people. Yeah. So not waiting to, it's silent. Let me say what I've been wanting to say, because I've been having this on my mind. No, just actually listening to people. And she, just a normal day of her calling me, and I'm listening to her, and she was listing off her friends. Like she was talking about some situation. She was like, I only have a few friends or whatever, and she named 2 people, and I wasn't a part of those 2 people, and normally I would just brush stuff off, hold it in, not say anything. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel a little hurt, because I've been the person that you have called to listen to, and not saying when I do things for people, I don't expect this grand gesture or appreciation or nothing, because I do it out the kindness of my heart. But sometimes I still feel at times, and I had to tell her I feel hurt. Yeah. That you listed these people on the phone with me.
I wasn't listening to you.
And not even listen to you, but listen to you, and if I can assist, whether it's financially or just listening is a helpful thing. I felt unappreciated. But that's why I'm glad I had that conversation with my pastor, and them telling me that, and even some of my church members said the same thing, like they have friends that they know that they're there for, whatever. And now I know, like, it's not about me. Yeah. And that's what I have to keep on reminding myself sometimes. It is not about me. God is supposed to be in me, and I'm supposed to be just the vessel to help people, to make people smile, to make people laugh. Like, that's just what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's good. The thing is that sometimes you'll be at a table. And my pastor actually told me this a long time ago, and I still remember this. Not my pastor, my youth director. Shout out, Greg. He said sometimes you'll be at a table, and you'll be holding up your cup. Your cup is above the next person's. God's blessing you so much that your cup is overfilling.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And it's flowing over. And now it's flowing over into the next person. But if you moved your cup, it wouldn't hit them. The thing is that we have to understand, just like your pastor told you, just like you understand now, it's just the fact that, yes, sometimes you are there to bless someone else. And they may not be able to do anything for you. But at the end of the day, You just got to look at it from a sense of you are, just like you said, the vessel. You are the one that's passing on that word. And yes, everything does come full circle. And of course, you should never do anything just to get something back. But at the same time, just still have that understanding that yes, it is going to come full circle. So I mean, that's an awesome lesson to learn, an awesome thing to pass on for especially the people, especially those who are out in 2020 who have maybe just been a blessing for other people and felt unappreciated and felt like they're always there for other people but no one's there for them. So this conversation is definitely for you out there. It's definitely for you, and I want to let you know that you and people like you are also appreciated, because this is, you are the people that we need. The people who are going to check and really be those genuine friends who are being overlooked. So I definitely I appreciate you sharing that for sure. So I want to
reply to that real quick.
Sorry. Oh yeah, no, you good.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I was, just like you said, if it's not about like it'll come full circle. Yeah. But if you're just looking to have your hand out, in return, your hand gonna be tired. Bro. Yeah. You might as well cut your hand off and just sit it on the table. Really. But that's really what I want to say something else, but I completely forgot it. So
no, it's all good. No, it's all good. No, it's. At the end of the day, yes, you shouldn't be sitting anywhere expecting something in return anyway. So, it's still the same message. I appreciate you, and yeah,
I found that. one other thing, that kind of goes into like a quote, and now I know what I was about to say. The people in your life, even though you may be helping them out, sometimes they're helping you out as well. Some of the things in college, I would have never thought about doing. Like, NPHC president, that was not me. Yeah. That was Aaron Elkos. Shout out to Aaron. Like, he was like, brother, I think he would be great. Like, brother of the year stuff, that was not, I was never that, I was, I was comfortable with being in the back, doing the work. Yeah. I didn't care about being in the front at all unless you wanted me to. Like, like y'all the ones that called me and said, we want you to head this or co-host this or whatever. I didn't volunteer. I didn't mind, but I felt appreciated then too, for somebody to see those qualities in me that I really didn't see. Yeah. So you may feel unappreciated at sometimes, but you also have to remember there are some people that have appreciated you as well. So you're definitely one of them, of course.
I appreciate it, brother. And I also want to touch base on something as well. Something that I've been working on throughout this year is trying to. I used to do this thing where I'd be like, I haven't done anything yet, or I'd tell myself I haven't got my business off the ground yet. I was able to effectively, hire, employees, able to effectively have contracts, able to donate to, nonprofits and actually run that, having that, on a consistent basis. But the thing is that even doing all those things, I would tell myself, man, I got to get my business off the ground. And one of the things for 2020 that taught me is that I had to tell myself, hey, sometimes you need to give yourself a little more credit. And, even with the whole sense of feeling unappreciated, I was saying, oh, no one's noticing what I'm doing. No one's seeing what's going on. But at some point in time, I had to sit down and look and say, okay, Kinnawa, what are you doing that's right? You have to give yourself a pat on the back sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about society.
Yeah, like you. If you are doing well and you feel like you are doing well, that's the first step in order to do better. Correct. You know what I'm saying? So, I really want to, stress the fact of, I'm not too sure if that's something that you've already taken into consideration too, but also be sure to, hey, I helped someone out. I did something good today. I made someone smile. I made someone's day. Or, hey, I took my business to the next level. Or, hey, I passed on the word of God to somebody else. I like to make sure that you have to give yourself an applause. Like Lil Baby said,
Hey.
I gave a round of applause to myself. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that first.
No, seriously.
You know, and
that's the only important thing, really, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is just that once you do that, it makes it a lot easier. And even, you know what I'm saying, whether it be haters or anything like that, it makes it a lot easier for other people to be like, you know, they're really happy with themselves and they're really happy with what they're doing. And you know, that's something that I want to either get to, or I'm supportive of that, or hey, you know what I'm saying, I want to be like them, or I want to be around them, that energy. So I definitely want to say, you know, hopefully it's something that you're doing, but what is something that a takeaway that you want to give to the people as well, you know, whether it be, you know, like I said, I want people to be able to, you know, applaud themselves and congratulate themselves and be able to notice the positive things they're doing to get better. Yeah. What is one thing that you want the people to take away as well?
If you're able to help anyone, and that doesn't necessarily mean financial, that can be a conversation, that can be opening a door. Just know if you're able to assist somebody, that means you have more than enough in that area to give to somebody, because in order to give to somebody, you have to have it. Because if you give, and I believe that it's okay to give your last, but sometimes if you give your last, you have to also be cognitive to know where is it going to come back next. Now, I do believe in God, I do believe in faith, but I also believe in being aware of everything. But if you're able to give to somebody, that means you have more than enough, and that's a blessing within itself.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love it, man. You know, I know I was gonna let that be my last question, but I do want to, you know, just hit on another thing too. The thing is that this is a brand new show. It's called A Conversation with a Gentleman, and of course, this is my brother. He's a gentleman. I'm a gentleman too as well. But the thing is that Conversation with a Gentleman is just an open place, an open platform for people to have, you know, genuine conversations, really strip down and talk about things that are either bothering them or you know, that they've learned, and also give a place of just really like an open place to give advice too. So, and I really appreciate the fact that once again you coming on the show, talking about it, letting us know what's going on, and of course your story, and looking into it. You know, 2020. Year of clarity, which definitely was a thing that God sat us down to, you know what I'm saying, really focus refocus and get our priorities straight. 2021 should definitely be a year of execution. So is there, moving forward, I know there's something that, you know, like I was telling you off camera that, you know what I'm saying, I was in a habit of not listening and things like that, and I would take my time now before I respond, and take my time on just kind of like, you know, just reacting or whatnot, and being more proactive now. So being proactive, you know, I wanted to step up and have this conversation. And for you, what is one thing that you want people to be more proactive with doing going into 2021? The thing is that I feel like a lot of people have been, you know, people weren't ready to sit down. People weren't ready to refocus.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know, so
we live for the world.
Exactly. You know, it's just like, oh, like we're in quarantine. What's going on? I don't know what to do. But there were
get my lights up.
Yeah,
get my lights up at the house.
Exactly.
They're gonna know how I live.
Exactly.
I really don't live like that.
Exactly. And it's just a bunch of excuses that were made. But what is one thing, you know what I'm saying, you want people to be more proactive about going into 2021? Not New Year's resolutions. I'm not really a fan of those. I feel like that's just something you think of in a moment. It's like a holiday. It's something you're like, oh, I got this, you know. But what is one thing that you want people to make sure they are doing and going to do for 2021 that's not just a seasonal thing? It's this is what I'm committing myself to be better, not just 2021, but hell, for the rest of life.
Half of me is like, I don't have the experience to say that, just like, but just to answer that question, I would say being uncomfortable, but also being aware if something doesn't seem right. Because you can be uncomfortable in bad situations. So trust your intuition, but those things that you have a desire or those talents that you're sleeping on, be uncomfortable. If you sing and some people say you sound really good, maybe start recording yourself just for personal self. Maybe start recording yourself and seeing, you know, what notes or stuff you can hit, you know, or go on YouTube. There's several vocal coaches on there. If you like to draw, start drawing. Start sketching things first, or, you know, start tracing things, like, or if you want a family, and it's me talking to myself, and I'll tell you certain things that I'm doing currently. Not having sex, not entertaining people. Like, when I say not entertaining, I mean I can leave my phone unlocked and not worry about nothing, which I could always do that because I'm a person of just like, it is what it is. Unless I was in a little situationship or something, to be honest. So it wasn't all the time, but now, no, I'm not entertaining anyone. And that's because I needed to check certain things with myself and had to realize, if I want this family, if I want a different thing, if I want a different life, I can't keep on going through the same things. That's one major thing.
You gotta do something different.
Yes. If you are tired of being in whatever rotation, circle, cycle, you have to change yourself. You have to do something to change it, because it is your life, not no one else's. And you don't know when it's going to end. Honestly, we don't know the time nor the day.
That's real. That's real, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
This conversation's been great, and I definitely look forward to having you again. This won't be the last time, for sure.
I will definitely come back, for sure.
Man, look, y'all, he done drove.
Look,
came down.
He got it on camera. I will definitely come back.
Definitely will come back, and of course we'll definitely love to have you back.
Thank you.
So appreciate you coming on the show, man. Of course, you know,
appreciate it.
Conversation with a gentleman, definitely a gentleman. Dequantez Sandifer, I appreciate you, and of course we'll have more coming up. Be sure to check out the links below, subscribe, and of course be on the lookout for more information coming out soon. Conversation with a gentleman, Dequantez Sandifer, and of course my name, Kinnawa the African Thunder.
Conversations with the gentlemen, talks with the gentlemen, talks with the gentlemen. Conversations.
Gotta make it to the top, I ain't never gonna stop giving everything I got. Yeah. Gotta push it till we make it. See a chance, I gotta take it, yeah. Never ever fake it. Yeah. Yeah, you know we going in for